Welcome back to HH. We are here with another division preview. We are doing the AFC South today, but before we get started, thank everyone for tuning in. We're having some of our best long-form videos, and if you are liking it, please subscribe, drop a like, leave a comment who you think is going to win this division. Let us know where we got wrong. Let us know who we got right. But without further ado, we are going to get right into it. We're going to start with the lowest odds to win and move on up. So we are starting with, I think, an intriguing team this year. Tennessee Titans, new head coach, Robert Saleh, or if you'd like to call him Bob, and then new OC Brian Daboll. Tennessee Titans win total 6.5.
Yeah, a lot of big changes for the Titans coming after a very disappointing season last year in Cam Ward's rookie year. They bring in Bob Saleh, they bring in Brian Daboll, and then as you see, the typical thing happens when you bring in a new coach. A lot of the former players come with them. Wan'Dale Robinson, Daniel Bellinger, Cordell Flott. I mean, these are all Giants, and then even Saleh, John Franklin Myers, Jermaine Johnson. So it's like the mix. It's like combining the Jets and the Giants in a way this offseason for them. But it's exciting because you have a young quarterback that you took first overall. Then you go out and you get Cardinal Tate in this year's draft. So you're giving him some help. He had very bad turnover problems, mostly because of his line. So I like what they did in this offseason. They spent on the defense, drafted some offense, and signed up some decent offensive players. And yeah, I'm excited to see what this team does. Over under 6.5.
Good line.
It's a good line. I'm gonna lean under. I'm gonna lean under. I think 5-6 games, but I think that it's gonna be a big step up, and it's gonna be like promising for the Titans here on out.
Yeah, I think if you're a Titans fan, you can't be nothing but excited. I mean, you got to be like ecstatic with the. I mean, Saleh put on a great performance as a DC. I know he wasn't great in the Jets organization, but who is? I've talked about it before. Jets are terrible. They're just like the Browns. I said last week. They're never gonna win. Sorry to all my friends who are Jets fans. You're never going to see it in your life. But we'll move on from that. I would be pumped to have him as my head coach. And then you bring in Brian Daboll, my old Giants coach, where I was getting sick of him. But he was the Josh Allen, he was his OC. So I think this is the perfect spot for Cam Ward. And you got wide receivers. Even if Cardinal Tate doesn't work out, you got Wan'Dale. You still got Alec Eiermeyer. Is that how you say his name, from Stanford? You got Shamir DK, your favorite player, I think, on the Titans. DK. You got players that can figure it out. You got Gunnar Helm, who's going to be, I think, leading the role of tight end with Chig leaving for the Commanders. But the thing about the Titans, you don't have a terrible schedule. I think this division is tough, but you get the Jets off the gate. I mean, I think Bob's licking his chops to get there and just destroy them. I mean, he is going to have Geno in a blender. I would put Mega Max at the Titans win the first game. But I'm leaning heavy on the over here. I think the Titans are going to be a very frisky team this year. I don't mark them down as an easy win if they're playing anybody. I don't really care who plays defense for Saleh. You saw last year, the Niners, everybody goes down. They still show up. You get a lot of pieces. He got a lot of pieces in the draft as well. And I just think they brought in some veterans like Tony Adams, who's been around the league a lot. He's going to be, I think, the helm of that defense playing safety. I like the over 6.5 a lot, and I think Cam Ward is going to take a big step up this year.
Yeah, I definitely agree that they're not going to be an easy win. It's not like you're not looking at the schedule and be like, oh, it's a free win. I just think that it's a lot of new moving parts, and it's hard to go into a season with this many this much new stuff and have success right out of the gate. Not really could be like the Patriots last year. That was an anomaly. Yeah. But it is true. It is really hard. It's promising if you get them to mesh together and you guys get some wins, but over 6.5, I do think that the division is pretty solid with the Texans and the Jags. And then it's just, I feel like they could lose any game, but they could also win any game. So I'm not too confident that they're going to have the immediate success that some people may be hoping for, but I do think that they are setting themselves up very nicely for the future with a lot of young players.
Yeah, I just think the reason that I feel comfortable taking their over is that I think the defense is going to be good. It's just because of the coach. It's just because Saleh's there. I don't think it matters who's over there. Even the Jets had an awesome defense. Now, if they're going to play offense like they did on the Jets, they're in trouble. But you got Daboll. I know that he can get. I mean, he made the playoffs with the Giants offense that year. We were not that good. We were just playing so good. I think Daboll can get that. I think I like Cam Ward more than Daniel Jones, so that's what we're comparing him to. And I just think one of these wide receivers has got to work out. So I feel pretty comfortable. And you even got Nick Singleton going to be backing up Tony Pollard. I think they got weapons that are good enough. I think Cam Ward can get it done, play good enough offense, and the defense is going to be good. So are you leaning the over is what you're saying? You're taking the over?
No, I was leaning the under.
Eric's leaning the under. I'm a little bigger on the Titans this year. I think a lot of people are. So I think I do fall in the kind of square category, but I can't get myself to think they're going to win less than 6 games. Like, I think 7 is like the floor in my head.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be shocked if they go win 10 games. Like, that's how that I just this coaching staff just gets me very excited. That's really the main reason why.
Yeah.
But we'll move on to a team that was hot at the beginning of the year last year, fell off. Their boy Danny Dimes got hurt, but Indianapolis Colts over under this year win total is 8.5.
Yeah, they obviously re-signed Daniel Jones, bringing him back off injury. We obviously don't know his health in question right now, but we imagine it'll be okay. I don't think that they're going to be able to replicate what they had in the beginning of the season last year. Not saying that they can't go out and win games, but I think that everything kind of meshed perfectly last year in the beginning of the season. And then even with Daniel Jones, they did start losing a few games, coming back to earth a little bit. They did start off very hot. Win total 8.5. I'm going to lean the under there too. I think it's fair. But I could see them having a worse record than... it's close between them and the Titans in my head. I think that those two might have some pretty decent games this year. But it's exciting. They lose Michael Pittman. They have Jonathan Taylor. Obviously had a crazy, crazy season last year. 1,900 total yards, so many touchdowns. So I don't know. They can be super exciting. I just don't know what to really expect from Daniel Jones and the offense, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, even they lost a lot of pieces on the defense as well. And last year, we didn't record before. This was probably my best take. I said that I thought the Colts were going to be good last year. I took them to win the division. They didn't end up winning it. But this year, I'm the total opposite. I think the Colts are going to stink. I think this is a really down year for them. I think we're going to see that this was one of the worst GMs of all time, some of these moves that he's made. The Sauce trade, I think, is one of the worst trades. Is going to go down. Terrible, terrible move. Jets did something right. Congratulations. Clap your hands. Jets did something right. Not going to do anything with that. I keep dissing the Jets. But I just feel like this year, I love Daniel Jones. I think he could have stayed in New York. I was okay with that. But the team around him, I don't really believe in. I like Steichen. I think he's a good head coach. But I just think this GM, and then they paid Alec Pierce all that money. I don't think he's an alpha dog. And they trade Michael Pittman away, who I think is built to be more of a wide receiver one than Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce is a great deep shot threat. I think that's good. But I'm way down on the Colts this year. I'm taking the under, and I think the Colts might be picking top 6 in the draft. I think they're going to be that bad. That is my take this year. Nothing about this team. Besides Jonathan Taylor, I think he's very exciting, but I think this team has just gotten worse. And now, even if you're looking at a franchise whole, they've traded away picks for Sauce Gardner and stuff like that. I think they're in a blender on where to go, and that's why they're paying Daniel Jones that type of money and Alec Pierce because they don't know where to go.
Josh Downs could be in store for a nice season.
I could see that. I know I dissed him last year at our fantasy draft.
Yes, you did.
I was way down. Which, if I was right last year, Michael Pittman, I still think is better than Josh Downs at wide receiver. Yeah. But that was a big thing at our fantasy draft. But Josh Downs is in a spot where he can be the alpha. I mean, Alec Pierce is not going to be a high target guy. I just don't think he is.
He's vertical, definitely.
Yeah, that's what he's built to be.
Quick note, Josh Downs reception yards in Vegas, 625.5. I kind of like the over.
I would agree.
I think that they're going to target him over the middle of the field a lot this season. So that's something I've been looking at is kind of hoping for Josh Downs' breakout. I've always liked him for some reason. But, yeah, they lose Zaire Franklin, Kwity Paye, Jermaine Pratt. I mean, they do lose the defense, and that was one of their solid points.
They could lean on the defense when the offense was not going. The offense was rolling to start, and then it slowed down, and they won some ugly games. They did, and then it just all came.
I mean, when Phillip Rivers came in, they lost to the Seahawks by 3 points.
They grinded it out.
So they easily could have another great season. It's just I feel like Daniel Jones coming off injury, losing all these pieces, it's just not the best spot. I don't think they're in as good of a spot last year, so I'm also leaning the under. Yeah, I mean, this is Daniel Jones' second major injury too. And Daniel Jones, part of the reason when he plays good is he can move, almost sneaky, very athletic. So you worry about that as well. The year with the Giants, he was moving a ton. I mean, that game against the Vikings. And the thing is with Josh Downs, I like thinking about the main receivers that Daniel Jones has played with. Michael Pittman's kind of the biggest one he's ever played with. He used to have, Slayton and the Giants, and he had Wandale. So I think, and Wandale was the main target guy with him too. So I think he's going to lean towards Josh Downs. I do like Josh Downs a lot, that take. But I'm under on this team, taking the under on the wins, and I would even move it down to 6.5. I would take
I would switch the lines of Titans and Colts how I feel this year.
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna be very similar in my head at least. So.
But at least like the Titans, like you feel promising if they're around there. The Colts, if they're down near there, they went all in last year for nothing.
It really just depends on Jonathan Taylor. If he's doing what he was doing in the beginning of the season last year, then they're going to be good.
Yeah.
They're going to be good.
If they can lean on him and he's going to be doing
he's
that.
got. I mean, he's looking for an extension right now too. And let's just say, I don't know. I don't think anybody wants to be that leaned on. You know, what I mean? It's not ideal. So, but if he has another season like he did last year, they are going to win games. They're going to move the ball. But.
Yeah, I mean they're going to be leaning on him heavy because I don't think their wide receiver room is that good, even though they paid like a top 10 wide receiver, which is ridiculous. But we will move on to, I think also before we move on, like they also like they have a pretty tough schedule. I mean they come out Ravens, I guess they get Mahomes Chiefs, and then Houston. Like that is just a brutal way to start. I feel like that is some tough games to start. But we'll move on now to a team that was very exciting last year with Liam Cohen taking over, second year for him. The Jacksonville Jaguars win total is over under 9.5 wins.
Yeah, I definitely like the Jaguars. I like Liam Cohen. I like what he did with the offense last year. They were very, very good. High scoring team. Trevor Lawrence had probably his best season in the NFL.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So their defense was very, very good. Very turnover heavy. They do lose Devin Lloyd, who was amazing.
But they have a plan. They didn't, not like they didn't re-sign him. They shipped him off. So they must have a plan.
Yeah, I mean he was really good for them last year, like in the box, making plays, stopping the run. So that definitely hurts. And they also lose Etienne, who had a very solid season last year. But they have Tootin behind him, a young back. And you know how running backs, they come and go. So I'm not worried about that at all. I think that over 9.5, I like the over. I think that they're going to be very good again. I think Liam Cohen's going to stamp himself as one of the better offensive-minded coaches in the NFL, and I think T-Law's obviously coming into what we thought he was out of college. You know, he was one of the better QB prospects in recent years. So I really like the Jaguars. I think they're good defensively. I think they're good offensively. I don't really see that much of a ceiling for them. I think they could be very good in the NFL this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually leaning the other way. I'm leaning the under on the Jags here. Not that I think they're bad. I really do like Liam Cohen. I think last year, like, the turnovers kind of make me worry. Like, was that, like, I know you have to play great defense to turn the ball over, but it's sometimes you got to get lucky, and that was a ton of turnovers they had, and I'm not fully convinced on Trevor Lawrence yet. He still likes to turn the ball over. I do like he was taking off a lot more. He was getting a lot of rushing touchdowns and stuff like that. I don't really worry about Etienne leaving, but I do think they need Brian Thomas Jr. to step up and be the guy. I know you got Parker Washington, you got Jacoby Myers, who I like both of them, but Brian Thomas Jr. has got to be the guy in my opinion, and I don't know if he can. I kind of think he can come back, but I think he's got to get rolling. But I'm leaning the under. Part of it is when we talk about the next team who I think is going to take a step up. So I'm taking the under for the Jacksonville Jaguars here. I think they'll be around 500. I'd take like 9 wins. Wouldn't be shocked if they get 10, but I think they're going to be one of those teams playing on the fringe of the playoffs. I think they're going to be a little worse than last year, regress a little bit, and I really just think I don't know if I'm fully convinced yet on Trevor Lawrence as a quarterback.
Yeah, the wide receiver room is kind of like we don't
just
really
kind
know.
of a mess.
We don't really know who's going to be the one essentially because Brian Thomas has a down year, and then Parker Washington kind of broke out, went for over like 800 yards.
And Myers is always weirdly
and Myers
good.
is always good. So, which isn't a bad thing. It's a good problem to have. Is too many mouths to feed. I don't know if T-Law is going to be more of spreading the ball around like he kind of did last year, or they're going to try to force feed somebody. I said that BTJ is going to be more vertical this year, a lot more vertical than over the middle, which he already kind of was, but they're going to try even harder, apparently, some reports were saying. And but I'm very curious to see what they do. I think it's going to look a lot like last year, though.
Yeah, I think they are going to be similar, and that's why the turnover margin almost kind of like can they replicate that?
Yeah,
like that's hard to do. That's hard to do.
Definitely.
Not as hard as shout out the Jets not getting an interception, but I'm just drilling them today.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's my fear is like a couple less turnovers. Do they lose 2 more games last year? It's something like that. That's kind of like my fear. But I do think they're headed in the right direction. Even if they win 9 games this year, I don't think you're going to get discouraged. I think you found your coach. I do think Trevor Lawrence, has to be your guy. He has to.
Oh, yeah.
So he has to be. So you got to convince yourself. It's not that I feel like I think the Jaguars are going to go backwards. I just think this year is not their year. It's kind of how I feel. But I'm big on the Titans not for some reason. I gave my explanation. But we'll move on. Eric is taking the over for the Jags. Think they're going to stay around where they were last year. I'm feeling a little regression for them. But we're going to move on to the division favorite is DeMeco Ryans and the Houston Texans. We pretty much know what we're going to get from them, I think. Over-under wins is 9.5.
Yeah. Obviously, this team started off slow.
Mm-hmm.
They were losing games. They weren't scoring touchdowns in the beginning of the season. Davis Mills comes in, wins 3 in a row, and then C.J. Stroud came back, and they just didn't lose, essentially, again.
Yeah.
Like, it seemed like they just couldn't lose. They smacked the Bills in the mouth solely because of their defense. Their defense was phenomenal, obviously. Will Anderson Jr., Danielle Hunter, Derek Stingley. Like, so many different guys that helped this team be so good and get to the AFC divisional round last year. I think that I'm going to disagree with you. I think the Jags are going to win the division this year.
Yeah.
I'm going to feel more about the Texans like you feel about the Jags. I think they're going to be like right at 9 wins. It wouldn't shock me if they had 10. So I'm going to lean the under right now. And I do love DeMeco Ryans, and I love that defense. I just feel like C.J. Stroud is deteriorating in his confidence. And maybe it comes out when he's like his rookie year self, but it seems like every year he's got a little bit worse. And I'm not sure what that is really, why that's the case, but it just kind of is how it is. So I feel like that their offense is just weird. And like last year when they get in the red zone, they always were kicking the ball. I don't see what they really did that's going to change that, to be honest. I mean, their O-line got better. They draft Rutledge and they get Braden Smith, which was a big part of it. But I don't know. They bring in David Montgomery. I don't think they're going to be scoring that much, which maybe they don't need to because their defense is that good. But that is kind of my idea. I think they're going to be a definitely grinder type team. They're they kind of remind me of like the Steelers, you know.
So you like Trevor Lawrence more than C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
So that's kind of I still have belief in C.J. Stroud. Last year I think was battle of injury, and then of course this team wins, which is great for the team. But at the same time, then now he's competing. If I don't win, now they want Davis Mills in. I think this year he took the offseason to reset. This is his team. I think that so much, and I love DeMeco Ryans in that defense. And I'm huge on the Texans this year. I'm thinking like 12 wins. Like I think this team is going to be good. You don't need C.J. Stroud to be a world beater with this defense, with DeMeco Ryans running it. And the weapons excite me. Tank Dell's got to be like coming back.
Yeah.
Tank Dell's coming back. You got Jaden Higgins. You got Jalen Noel. One of them figure it out to be the real two. Then you got Nico Collins, your guy. You love Nico. And then you got Mixon and Montgomery in the backfield. Like they're giving C.J. Stroud the weapons. I believe that this team can really, really figure it out. I think the Texans are going to be really good this year. I think they're going to have a home playoff game. And they just beat good teams usually. If C.J. Stroud, if he can't figure it out, and what we saw is really the new way of C.J. Stroud, this is going to be one of the worst takes of the year. Then they are going to win 8 or 9 games because they're not going to beat teams turning the ball over.
Yeah.
But I think C.J. Stroud is really going to value all he's got to do is value the football, and this team's going to be good. Yeah. Now, then when we talk in a grand scope of things, we'll probably get to that when we do the playoff. He worries me about them being good enough to win it all.
Yeah.
But I think they have a coach that's good enough to win it all, and I think they have a defense good enough to win it all.
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously not worrying about their defense at all. We know we're going to get. DeMeco Ryans is such a smart coach. He does it the right way. Like when you're watching the game, he doesn't make many mistakes, it seems like, management-wise. And then their defense is obviously that good because of drafting and signing.
He's so into the game. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Like that's why I talked about. I love a coach that Saleh's like that too. Like they are
always on his knees.
They're so pumped up when they make a play. Like Todd Bowles just puts me to sleep. So that's like I love a coach like DeMeco Ryans. Like I just think the boys they play so hard for him out there, and the defense is so good. C.J. Stroud just has got to figure it out, and that is why I'm going heavy on the Texans this year. Which I guess we both gave away who we believe is going to win the division.
Yes.
Eric is on the Jags plus 195. I'm taking the Texans, and I won't be shocked if the Texans are 1 seed. For some reason, I think this is the year that everything clicks for them. DeMeco Ryans, I think, is a great coach, so I'm taking the Texans heavy this year.
Yeah, I like the Jags to win it. I mean, it's going to be close between them and the Texans, but it was last year. I think this division is similar to last year, besides the Titans being a little bit better and then the Colts being slightly worse. So I think it's a two-headed race here between the Jags and the Texans, and I think I just like Trevor Lawrence and Liam Cohen. Offensively, I love DeMeco Ryans more as a coach because of how good he is with the defensive side of the ball and everything, like you said, getting into the game and stuff. But I just think that T-Law is just more talented, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, as a prospect, T-Law is definitely higher, but I just think T-Law has to be great, in my opinion. I don't think the Jags defense is this all-time class defense. They were very turnover heavy last year, which is if that's how they're gonna be. Like then they are awesome. But it's almost like they got to show me again that that's who they are. And I do really believe in Liam Cohen too. I think they are good. But I just don't even think they're gonna beat the Texans. I think the Texans go like 5-1 in the division. That's why I think they're gonna own it. I feel really. It's just having that defense and having I know CJ was bad last year, but he is. This is his year to prove it. He's either going to be a bad quarterback or a good quarterback. I think after this year, everybody's thoughts are going to change one way or the other. I think this is a make or break a year for CJ Stroud.
Yeah, I mean, I think that even if he was what he was last year, I think he'll get more chances. He's proven.
I don't think they're going to bench him, but I'm talking as what we do.
What you can expect from
people's opinions of him.
Okay.
This is not that he shouldn't care, but he probably does. People's opinions of him are really going to decide on this year. Because if he's good again, I think people will be like, all right, CJ Stroud can get it done. Yeah. If he's bad again, they'll be like, they might not ever do it because of CJ Stroud.
Right.
That's the type of quarterback I think he's fallen into this year. But anything else you got to add on the division? We kind of went right into it there.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I like the Jags. I think that I like what I saw last year. And not that I didn't like what the Texans did. I think that the quarterback is the most important position on the field, and I'm gonna trust T.Y. I'm gonna trust Stroud. So that's essentially it.
Yeah. Well, so that's what it is. We're a little different on this division. We'll see at the end of the year who was right. Well, maybe we'll know in the middle of the year. But I'm on the Texans. Eric is on the Jaguars. But that is it for this video. That was the AFC South. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know who you think is gonna win. Let us know if you're high on a team or low on a team. But please like, comment, and subscribe. Go follow our socials to check out our shorts. But that is all we got today, and we will see you on Friday. Peace.